What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the show. On today's episode, we are talking about people-pleasing and how to create autonomy over your own emotions. I'm Jeremy Miller.
I'm Dallas Terrell.
And we are the Betterment Bros. All right, everyone, here we go. Tonight, we're talking about people-pleasing. That's right, we're talking about how to put yourself first, your needs above the needs of others. Right, Dal?
That's what's on the forecast today, folks. And I'm sure you could relate.
Oh, yeah. This one, we got an email, and we're super excited to dive in. But first, we're talking about takeaways, dude. We got some New Year's gratitude, and we're about to crack it open.
We're about to crack it open, dude. So my takeaway for the week, Jerem, is mainly surrounding purpose.
Okay.
Or just brief examples of your purpose just unfolding right in front of you. You know, I know I've talked about a couple takeaways where you just kind of step back and see what you've created, and you're just like, God damn, that feels good.
Damn.
You know, fills the soul.
Yeah.
So I had another example of that recently. I was coaching CrossFit with our clients, and the workout of the day was very difficult. It was deadlifting 1.5 times your body weight, and there was a lot of pull-ups, right? So I weigh 185 pounds. That was 277 pounds I had to deadlift 7 times.
That's a lot of weight, dude.
It's a lot of weight, right? So I knew it was going to be difficult for the clients.
For how many reps?
7, but then multiple rounds.
Uh-huh.
Without getting all into the workout, right? It was crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy difficult workout. And so at our program, right, I run 2 classes. One's a little more advanced than the other class. So the second class is the guys that have been doing it, 40, 60 days, or came into the program with more physical background than most. But so at one point I stepped back after going over all the movements, making sure everyone was lifting right and safe and proper and deadlifting with good form. And I think there was 9 clients. And all 9 clients were deadlifting over 200 pounds or close to. We had some chicks in there that were like 185, which is a lot of weight to deadlift, especially for a chick,
Yeah, that's a lot for me.
That's a lot in general. That's a lot of weight, dude. Yeah. And especially for multiple reps.
Yeah, dude.
And they were all doing pull-ups, which is kind of like a milestone in the exercise world.
Oh, big time, dude.
And also, especially for females too, they tend to upper body strength isn't inept.
It's a challenge.
Right. So at one point I stepped back outside of the gym and was watching it from like an observer's point.
Yeah.
And I just had this like overwhelming feeling of like, it's working.
Wow.
Like these guys are tangibly getting better.
Wow.
These guys are getting stronger. They're getting more skillful. Regardless of all the stuff they're doing in the program for their addiction and their mental health and their day-to-day stuff, but like it was just tangible proof, dude, that these guys are making strides, and I made sure every fucking one of them knew it. And I was like, dude,
oh, dude, I love that.
You guys came so far, like it's apparent.
Yeah,
you could see it.
Right,
it's so cool.
The proof is there, dude.
The proof was there, and it was cool to see it on like a bigger scale.
Yep,
not just one person, but all 9 of them.
Wow,
all 10
dude.
of them.
Fuck,
just fucking flying and moving and grooving and feeling confident, dude.
I love that.
That was my takeaway. Is that moment was just it was rewarding.
That's pure, dude.
That was it, dude, for the week, man.
And honestly, that is one of the reasons why we push fitness so heavy on the show is because I can reframe to regain all day, right? But like it's so hard to really understand the progress you make mentally and emotionally because our mind and emotions are always all over the place, But when you make progress in the gym, you see it, you feel it, it's very obvious, And for me, man, those little milestones prove to me that the work I'm doing in my mind is also working. Because when I push through a fitness milestone, 80% of that is in my head.
Totally.
Right. And so it's proof that both are enhanced and improving,
It's a cohesive effort. Dude.
Very cohesive effort, dude.
Great
I applaud
work.
your efforts, Dal.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate that. So what's on the takeaway gratitude docket for Mr. Miller?
Okay, well, Dal, on the docket, funny you should mention purpose, because I remembered that this week, I had a meeting with some people in the field.
Nice.
Right, in our field, and one of them was TJ Woodward.
Teach.
Yep, we were at a big event, and afterwards we grabbed a cup of coffee. And
that was probably one hell of a cup.
We always get deep, dude, and
especially with some coffee in you.
Oh man,
the words are flowing.
We were clicking,
ideas
dude.
are brewing.
They were brewing thick.
What kind of coffee did you get?
It was this little. Oh, it was a Starbucks.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it was a Starbucks.
Hey, that's still cool, dude. Pike's Place.
No, dude. I went with the iced espresso.
Good call.
A little almond milk in there.
Dude, look at you, man.
You soften
fancy.
the edge,
You're
just
fancy.
Kind of around that corner a little bit.
What did Teach get?
TJ got, he always gets fancy, dude. He got like a venti, like vanilla latte or something.
Good for him. Good for him.
But we're sitting there, right? And he was asking me all the challenging questions, and I
sounds about right.
I found very clearly that my purpose, we've talked about it before, where it's, to bring people joy and
help others
and stuff. But it really, like, I really honed in on it from a really deep place, like in the heart space, not the head space.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt for a very brief moment like, dude, I want to, but I am embodying the purpose of just creating an energy of care, whether that's like helping people or making people feel good about themselves. And it was so pure that in that moment, I felt like I could genuinely change the world.
Wow, that's strong.
And, in thinking about it, it was like, yeah, like, we're doing this exercise and we're kind of getting deep into the heart space. And it was like, no, dude, like, I know for a fact, like, I'm here to help other people improve their lives. That's it, and infinitely true with addiction and substance abuse, and simultaneously infinitely true with livingness, with just getting through the day to day and feeling okay about who you are, And it was funny because, we were with another CEO of a different treatment program, and so she had reached out to me after I put on social media about my birth family, right? And she said, Jeremy, this is so amazing, and she had a story of her own with adoption stuff. And
wow,
I don't think I should get into the specifics,
totally.
but basically, a long lost family member reached out the day before Christmas, right?
Oh wow,
and they all met, a couple days later, and it went great and all this stuff. And she was like, it felt so good to. She was messaging me, I was on vacation and I was with my birth family, coincidentally. And she was messaging me like, dude, what do I do? And I was like, wow, this is so cool. Like, what are the odds?
Now you can help.
Yeah, that now I can live that purpose through this insanely unique experience, So it was just kind of like a really explosive, hour-long coffee date. You know what I mean? Like, and
that sounds par for the course, though.
Yeah, it's par for the. When you're hanging out with TJ Woodward, dude, you're gonna blow out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, even in passing, I'm like, oh wow, thanks for that. God, that's super insightful.
I know, dude. Like, it's just awesome, man. And we're gonna have him on the show, you guys. I know we've been talking about TJ for a long time. He's down to do the show with us, and so we're gonna get him on probably next month, and let you guys experience some of that too firsthand.
That's perfect, dude. I'm excited for that.
Dude, it's going to be awesome. Yeah.
But, I don't doubt that for a second.
So so that being said, great takeaways on the show today. Let's segue into the topic of the evening.
Let's do that.
Which is people pleasing. Right now, this is something that has come across our plate a few different times with emails, but this one in particular, they wanted to remain anonymous. So what I'm going to do is kind of pitch this situation, but we're not putting names or places or anything like that.
All good.
All good.
Yeah, I don't think that's what's relevant. You know?
No, it's hardly relevant unless it's a funny situation.
Yeah,
and that's sometimes, I like having a name on those sometimes.
That's true.
Yeah, but all right. So here's the basic kind of generic situation: is we're talking about a person who finds themselves constantly saying yes to things they don't really want to do.
Yes, man.
A yes man.
Or woman.
Or, very true, Doubt.
A yes woman.
A yes woman. Okay. But I really resonated with this particular topic because for a very long time, I also struggled with, pleasing others, even though I really didn't want to do whatever it was they wanted me to do.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so this situation in particular was, hey, I need a favor. Right. And this person always says yes,
Mm-hmm.
and, it's been like that for their whole life. And really the underlying concern, the underlying issue that we're trying to tackle tonight is being agreeable out of concern for the other person's feelings. Right. And so, in this particular example, we're talking about a relationship wherein, the person is in a little bit of a power dynamic,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the feeling of saying no is frightening because of the repercussions that could have within this relationship, right?
And what else it could trickle into
Exactly.
regarding that relationship.
Exactly, yeah. So, and I think there's a lot here to unpack. And so, for me, I see a lot of things at play. And I think for the audience, what we want to do is make it really relatable for everybody listening. And so if you can think of a time in your life, right, where, you've agreed to do something or said yes to something or denied your true thoughts out of consideration of the other person's feelings, right?
This is for you.
This is for you.
Yeah.
I want you to dig deep. I'm going to let you think for a sec. All right, I got one. I got 10.
Dude, yeah, as you're talking about, I got millions of times I can think of like, yeah, dude, skateboarding's stupid. You're right. And I'm like, I grew up skateboarding my whole life,
Yeah, dude.
I mean, I think that's a little dramatic, but that's the idea.
It's the idea, right? And I struggled with this for a long time because, I am a very positive person naturally, and sometimes I would confuse saying no or disagreeing with being negative.
Yeah.
Right. And it took me a long time to be able to differentiate between those things.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, kind of my jumping off point here for us tonight is going to be the fact that you just cannot control the emotions of other people. Right. And you can influence their emotions, you can affect their emotions, but you can't control their emotions. Right. And so for me, the example I always jump to in people pleasing, right, is agreeing to go to stuff I really don't want to go to, right?
That's a common one.
It's huge, dude. And for me, for the longest time, I would go to shit even though I didn't want to go, And I remember all my friends would, always go to the amusement park, right? I don't like roller coasters. I never have. I've done them. I hate them.
I feel like we've actually never brought that up on the show.
You might be right.
I think it's the first time you're like opening up about your fear of roller coasters.
I'll open it up, dude. I don't like them.
Yeah.
I don't like that shit. I'm scared of heights.
Don't like it at all.
And so growing up, I'd go on the rides because I didn't want people calling me a pussy and stuff, right? But the fact is, I hated it. I hate it, dude. I hate roller coasters, but I'd always go because I would feel obligated to not say no, right? But at what cost, right? What is the cost of me saying yes to myself versus what is the cost of saying no to them, right? And so for me, it's understanding that, a lot of times we don't want to say no to something because we're worried it's going to hurt the other person's feelings, right? It's going to make them mad at us. It's going to make them harbor resentment towards us. It could influence them to cut us out of their social circle. It could, all these different things could occur in that other person, but guess what? You're not responsible for any of those things, right? And, I talked to the person that wrote in and I gave them some very specific advice on the subject. And one of the things I said is, look, if you're afraid to say no because you're worried they're going to flip out, be mad, or, cut you out of the social circle, my challenge to you is to look inside and see if that's really someone you want to be hanging around anyway.
In the first place, yeah.
Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's kind of missing the boat on friendship or social circle.
Right, because I know very well, like, if I'm like, hey, Dal, dude, you want to go skate tomorrow? And you're like, nah, dude, like, I just want to hang out at home with my girlfriend. I'm not going to be like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what, dude? Fuck Dallas. I'm done.
Right.
Right? Like, I'm going to be like, all right, cool, dude. Yeah, well, we'll catch one next week,
Yeah.
And that's what a healthy relationship looks like. And we're going to get into the codependence of it in a little bit. But I think the first takeaway for me is that just acknowledging and understanding that while you do have an impact on other people's emotions, you're not responsible for how they perceive something you do or say internally. You have no control over that. And for me, when I let go of feeling like I had that power over people, it made it a lot easier for me to think about myself first.
Yeah. Speak your mind.
That's it.
Knowing that you're speaking your mind because you like to, not because you care about what they think or don't think, or how it makes them feel or not feel.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the main headline is you're not that powerful, as you say sometimes, you're not that powerful.
Right.
So you can operate off of them or operate off yourself.
Right. And it's like, dude, I remember when I was trying to get sober back home, I was in a group of people that loved to party, man. And my core group of friends, they saw me trying and they supported it, but all the random people I party, they don't give a fuck, right?
Yeah, they tear you down for being different. Yeah.
And I remember going to a bar one time, because a buddy's band was playing, and I was like, all right, I'm going tonight for the music, and that's it. I'm not going to get fucked up. I can't do it, dude. I can't get fucked up. I go to see, my buddy's band play. They're playing. I'm having fun. And a couple, people approach me and they're like, hey, dude, where's your drink, man? We got to get you a drink. I'm like, no, I'm actually going to meetings. I'm trying to cut back. I wasn't even on the quit boat yet. I'm like,
just trying to cut back.
It's a Tuesday, guys. I got a weekend rule, and they were pissed. It was genuine anger. Dude, what the fuck, man? This is our thing, And I remember caving to that because I felt so guilty that I caused them this pain that I fucking drank, dude. I got fucked up. You know what I mean?
Because of that. Wow.
Yeah, and then when everybody found out I got fucked up, they were mad too.
Yeah,
right?
so it was total loss.
Total loss, right? And not for a second did I consider my own needs above their own. I considered their emotions before I considered my own. And it got me in thick situations,
And you pleased them.
I pleased them, dude.
But really, no one was pleased.
Nobody.
No one was pleased at all, man.
No, yeah.
I think we've heard that story too many times, where
yeah, man.
People do stuff like that because they just care. Or it's not only do they put people above themselves, but there's also the social aspect of it of wanting to be accepted.
For sure.
Yeah. You like wearing this? Yeah. You like doing this? Yeah. You smoke that? Yeah. You drink this? Yeah. People want to fit in. People want to be liked. People want to be valued, So it's like you were saying no doesn't have to be this disagreement.
Right.
No one has to be right or wrong. It could just be what it is.
Exactly.
And I think that's kind of hard to differentiate, especially on the spot.
Yeah, dude.
How many times do you say yes to something because it's face to face, hey, you want to do this? And you're like, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
But you really didn't even give it any time. You really didn't think about it. And then you got to go back and look like an asshole and cancel. And it's this whole thing.
Oh, dude,
I guarantee the audience can relate to that.
I would hope so.
Right? There's no way you guys haven't.
Right.
Unless you're a fucking angel.
Yeah.
And angels don't listen to this show.
Right. No, they don't, dude.
So,
yeah.
I know you guys can relate. I know you guys know what we're talking about. So,
yeah. Yeah, and I think like a big piece on that right there is like, you know, when it's in person, it's so much harder. You know, like because you're on the spot and because you can see the emotions, you can see the shift in body language.
You can see what you're doing to them.
Right. Yeah. But remember, and this is a big topic on the show, right? Is that you are not causing any of those things, right? And, you know, a couple episodes back, we talked about people getting all pissed off about Donald Trump, right?
Yep.
Who is allowing you to become upset about Donald Trump? The answer is nobody but you, right? And so when you're in person, right, something that helps me is I'm looking at somebody, I'm saying no, right? And I see the shift. Oh man, the shoulders kind of go up, right? You see the smile drop down, you know, and like their eyes kind of get closed, and you just see the complete shift in body language and tone, right? I tell myself I am not responsible for that. Yeah. Right? The way they are receiving that information and then altering it in their mind to equal something completely different is not me. It is their life's events compiled into one moment, changing me saying, no, I don't want to go to that barbecue, to equal Jeremy doesn't like me anymore. I'm not as good as his other friends.
Yeah, they take it as rejection too.
Right. And that narrative is not your responsibility. Right. And so one of the questions in the email was, how do I say no without being rude? Right. And he or she said, you know, I always feel like I have to give a reason when I say no, but I shouldn't have to. And I said, well, actually, I like giving a reason when I say no, because that is the difference between being firm and being rude. Right. If someone's like, hey, Jeremy, dude, you want to go to the movies? And I go, no. Man, that's like
doesn't land very well.
That's kind of fucked up. Like, yeah, you know. But if I say, nah, man, like tonight I'm just gonna kind of call it early. Want to get home. You know, I had a long week, but invite me to the next one. Which one's gonna land better, right? So giving a reason for your decision isn't bad at all. It lets the other person know that you computed, you came to a decision on your own volition. Here it is. It's good enough for you to share with them, and you could still be homies afterwards, right? You're just not going to the movies.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so that's another action item I have is like, don't feel afraid to give a reason. You know, and I tend to word the reason in a way that it doesn't open the door to further
more
questioning.
Fuck.
I hate that, dude.
Yeah, and some people do that too. Some people like to prod and probe, and and that's when you kind of start to feel annoyed, you know, where it's because most of the time I'm pretty firm. It's like, yeah, I don't want to do this because this.
Yeah, right.
And in my mind, I'm like, and that's it.
Right.
That's like, I've spoken.
Yeah,
you know,
I've spoken.
I've spoken
that's
type
right.
of thing.
That's right.
But yeah, I think that's a good way to put it too, is, you know, put it in a way that's easily understood and is not setting yourself up to have a fucking discussion about it.
Exactly. Because that discussion's a real killer, man.
Yeah.
And it is one of my biggest pet peeves in this world, right? Let me give you an example.
They're questioning you.
Yeah, because, okay, I'm going to give you an example, all right? Hey, Jeremy, man, we're doing a big party at my house on Friday. We'd love for you to come. Okay, so in my head, in a matter of milliseconds, I go, okay, who's going to be there? A couple friends, but mostly just like people I know and you know, oh yeah, that guy, or oh yeah, that girl. Okay, what are they going to be doing? Well, they're probably going to be partying. I don't really party that much, you know. How late? It doesn't even start until 8:30. Like I'm not trying to be out till midnight, you know. I compute all these different things. And then in a matter of milliseconds, I say, hey, you know what, man? I appreciate the invite, but I'm going to have to say no on this one. Catch me on the next one though, right? Oh, but dude, like, it's going to be so fun though. We got that game. Don't you like that game? Oh, yeah, I mean, I like that game, but like, I'm not really interested in like going to, sorry, man. Like, I don't want to, yeah, but dude, like, what else are you going to do? You just going to go home? Yeah, I'm just going to go home. Why are you just going home? I just want to go home, right? And it's just fucking, and the more they ask me, the more I recognize that they are considering their own feelings far above mine because my answer's suddenly not good enough. Right. And the
you
way
didn't meet their expectations.
Exactly. And it's like, dude, I appreciate it. I know you just want to hang out with me. Right. That's not, I'm not saying you're an asshole for this, but I'm saying it can take a a somewhat difficult situation for people who are people pleasers and make it 10 times as awkward.
Yeah.
Right?
Or they end up caving along that convo.
Exactly.
Like, fuck it.
Yeah.
I will go, Derek.
Just to shut you up.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And dude, and so my action item for that is, you know, what I have found is really successful for me is I'll just repeat myself.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like you asking the same question with different words over and over isn't going to generate a different answer that you can then use against me.
Mm-hmm. Well said. Yeah.
And so when people are like, "Are you coming?" "Nah, man. I'm doing a night with Mariah tonight." You know.
Mm-hmm.
"Hey, man, but like, what? Didn't you guys do something like that?" "Yeah, man. I'm just doing a night with Mariah tonight."
Yeah, we're doing another one.
"Yeah, but dude, like, well, but we're playing Catan, man. Like, you love Catan." "Yeah, no, totally, dude. But I'm just doing a night with Mariah tonight." Right? And they may get shitty about that, but really, you're just doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
Right? You're just considering yourself above them. Right? So that's kind of my action item. If you get caught in that discussion, that post-answer discussion, where you got to form a fucking committee to challenge the validity of the answer you gave, that's my advice.
That's a good one. That's a good navigational tool.
Yeah, it helps me.
Because a lot of people get into that Q&A.
It happens to me all the time, Dal.
And you immediately want to get upset because it's like, dude, listen to what now you don't feel heard or understood.
Exactly.
And yeah, that's a whole thing to unpack just right there. I'm like,
Totally.
My mind's going a million ways and different examples and when to say fuck you and when to, you know, it's like, at what point do you just say, hey man, fuck you?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, honestly, like, you know, because I think this applies to work. This applies
absolutely.
to relationships, you know?
People asking you to do stuff you don't got time for.
Yep, exactly.
Especially with the power dynamic.
Yeah, dude. And that power dynamic,
stay true to it.
It can be very tricky, you know, whether that's in a relationship, whether that's with your buddies, whether that's with work, right? Whether it's in school, you know, like there's power dynamics all over, you know? And what you have to remember is that if you saying no to something, then, you know, causes this huge blowout, right? Then whatever the relationship was clearly isn't built on a foundation of mutual respect, right? And if you have to eliminate these relationships that aren't built on that mutual respect, then you're going to be all the better for it, right? And that's important to remember, you know? It's like, I have to challenge myself all the time because I'm like, dude, I don't want this guy to think I'm an asshole, right? And then I hear myself go, well, but I'm not an asshole, so who cares if he thinks I am? I'm not responsible for your projection of who I am. So those are kind of the examples paving the path to the solution, right? Now we got a couple action items out of the way, but Dal, what I really want to dive into is what does it mean to be autonomous over your own emotions? This is a huge topic, and I feel like, you know, everything we've talked about thus far is kind of leading into that, right?
I think you're right. Well, I mean, I think my understanding of autonomy is like self-governing your own emotions or self-regulating the way that you feel. I think we talked about it a little bit earlier too, where maybe we did, maybe we didn't. But the idea is to say what you want to say because you want to say it. The idea is to think or do the things that you want to do because you want to do them. I'm not going to do things that I think you want me to do. I'm not going to say things that I think you want me to say unless the situation needs it.
Calls for it, yeah. So there are some, but... You know.
Yeah, I mean, if you're like a detective, you know, and this guy you're fucking interviewing, you know, you think he wants you to say like... your dad wasn't there for you. Like you'd probably say it.
Yeah,
you know?
sure.
That's the only example I could come up with, dude.
What a fucking Of all the places I would have thought you'd go with that is not on the list, man.
I don't know why. I just saw this mental video of dude like just this interrogator.
Yeah, I like that, dude.
Just like, what the fuck do they want me to say? I'm gonna say all that, and then they're gonna get honest about this murder.
Yeah,
I gotta go home and see my wife. All that happened, dude, in a matter of seconds.
You been watching CSI or something, dude?
No, I actually hate that show.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it's like that show is funny, dude, because some people love how like familiar it is, like the
familiarity of it.
Yeah, it's
dude,
just
I know.
that's what's comfortable.
Yes.
It's like, I know what the fuck's going to happen.
Oh, it's minute 23. It's not the guy we thought it was. It's that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you know how it's going to happen.
Right.
It's slightly different than the last one.
Right.
But you know it's good.
Yep. Fucking CSI, man.
Yeah.
We'll do an episode on that another time.
Maybe they're onto something, dude.
Yeah.
But, so autonomy of your emotions, dude.
Yeah.
How to get there.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's self-regulation of your emotions, and that's so vague,
right?
And broad,
sure.
You know, but if I think for me, right, autonomy of your your emotions, right, almost like emotional freedom.
Yes,
being able to do and operate and say based on you, not others.
Mm-hmm.
To me, is synonymous with codependence,
right?
Or I'm sorry, independence.
Yeah,
right. It's like the opposite of being codependent on other people. Mm-hmm. Whether that's for money, your emotions, your validation, whatever, anything, right? So I think a simple way to put it is, how can you move towards being more independent? How can you start doing the things that you want to do for yourself? How can you start doing and thinking and saying things that you want to say?
Right.
And the best example I can say to that one, that to me makes the most sense, is saying I love you.
Right.
Right. I don't know if we've talked about that on the show before. Maybe we have.
I don't think so.
But oftentimes people say I love you because they want to hear it said back to them.
For sure.
It's this like manipulative thing, you know, and I've done it. We've probably all done it, right? Where you're sad and you're like, oh, I just love you. And you're like, but really you just want to hear it said back to you because it fucking feels good.
Yes.
And it's like this manipulative thing that we do to the people we care about the most.
Yep.
Whole nother topic for a whole nother story.
Yeah, dude.
And a whole nother week.
Write us about your relationships. We got you.
We still haven't done the breakup, dude.
Not a single one, dude.
God, dude. One of you guys, I hope you guys get dumped soon and you reach out to us.
I know.
Because God damn it, you're going to be a better person for it.
Yeah.
But anyways, so the solution to all of this, to people pleasing, to not regulating your own emotions, is to start regulating them.
Yeah.
Right? Don't give yourself some time to think. Create that space. We always talk about creating the space to act different, creating space to think different.
Big time.
So you can create space to be different.
Yeah.
So I think creating space to figure out how you feel and what your motives are. Am I saying this because I want you to think that I think this or feel this way? Or am I saying this because I really feel this way?
Right.
If I say how I really feel, is it going to hurt them? Yeah. Should I? I don't know.
Right.
Right. So if you can create the space to look, you can see what your true intentions are, and it can allow you to be more independent.
Yep.
And base it all off of yourself.
Yep.
In a non-selfish way.
Exactly.
I go to the gym because I fucking want to. Right. I tell my girlfriend I love her because I want her to know.
Yeah.
I don't. Is it nice when she says it back? Totally. If she didn't say it back, will we have a problem? Maybe. But I say it because I want to.
Right.
And I can control that. So I know if she didn't say it back, it would sting because we say it all the time. But it wouldn't make me resent telling her that I loved her.
Exactly.
I'd just be confused why we don't love each other all of a sudden.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, and I think you're really onto something there because, you know, with regulating emotions, like, God, I mean, we could have a whole show on that.
Whole year.
Oh God. But what I think in terms of people pleasing, right? For me, the emotional regulation is that, you know, what I challenge you to do, right, is recognize that each of us on this planet are moving through two realities: what's happening in the world and how we are processing what's happening in the world, right?
That's true.
So I see, you know, a guy at Safeway getting pissed off because they're out of whatever, right? And I'm like, dude, really? Like that? Okay, that seems like kind of a silly thing to get upset about. But that's my reality. But in his reality, there's a completely different narrative happening at the same exact time, right? Emotional autonomy is me being able to recognize that whatever I'm experiencing in the world is up to me and only me, right? And when I can slow it down and I can say, you know, like, I'll give you a great example, right? When I text somebody, like we're texting back and forth, whoop, bing, whoop, bing, right? And it's like back and forth, no lags. And then I say something and then I don't hear back. Where do I go?
Dark place.
I said something that pissed him off, right? Oh, fuck, I fucked up.
Yep.
Right? And I'll allow my story to take over, dude. They jump in the driver's seat, and my past and all my past bad experiences dictate. Oh, Jeremy, they're mad at you, dude. You said something bad. You offended them. You're a fucking asshole. Like all this shit. Because in the past, that was true at one point, right? And because my mind can't differentiate between the past and present very well, I've now created this reality in which I am affected by literally nothing. I'm not receiving communication. Nothing is happening.
I'm upset about it.
But there is so much happening in my head, right? Emotional autonomy, emotional regulation is being able to slow that down and look at it. Just look with gentle awareness. Okay, what do I feel right now? I'm afraid that they're mad at me. Do they have a reason to be? Maybe, but that doesn't mean they are. Okay, cool. So what should I do in response? I could ask them. Okay, but maybe asking, and you just play it through, play the tape through in your head.
And you'll get there.
And you'll get there, right? But like you said so perfectly, it is just in that space, when you give your mind some space just to look, right? You are regulating your emotions. Is there something actually happening in the world, in reality, that should cause me to feel a certain way? If I say, no, I don't want to go to your barbecue, is that a genuine reason for someone to be mad at me? The answer may sometimes be yes. It's Dad's 80th birthday and he's having a barbecue. I haven't seen him in 3 years. I'm not going. There's definitely an objective reason for me to feel bad about that.
Yeah.
Right? Friends I see every single week want me to go to a barbecue, but I worked 60 hours and I want to play fucking video games. Right? Yeah. And so emotional regulation is being able to just not control the emotion, but recognize it for what it is and see if it lines up with what's actually happening.
I like that.
Yeah.
You know what's cool too is once you start to do that, then you can start to prove to yourself that you're like correct or that you're right.
Right.
At first, I mean, I know one of the big perks of getting sober is like that emotional freedom of like moving towards independence, not codependence.
Yep.
I know that's a big theme in people that suffer with substance abuse, people
for sure.
that, are in that field or just struggle with that in general. It's almost goes hand in hand.
Totally.
Right. And it's not really that they struggle with codependence. It's that they struggle with independence and that they need things to be something. And a bunch of things we've already talked about on the show plenty of times that I'm sure the audience remembers because you guys are fucking awesome.
That's right.
But, oh man, but it's gone.
Oh, you lost it?
What was I saying?
You were talking about...
I looked at the Joker and I was like, that's new.
Yeah, that's new, dude.
And then I forgot all this things that I was going to say right now.
Kayla painted that, dude, for my Christmas gift.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we'll put it on the gram.
Yeah, we'll have to take a picture right now so you guys know why I lost this amazing thought. Oh, I know what I was saying, but now I'm about to sneeze.
We got this, dude. You're good. Sneeze it out, bro.
It's not happening now, but it's still there. Okay. The sneeze is gone, folks, and the thought is back. What I was saying, when I first got sober, I was creating space. I was creating a different habit, a different routine of saying like, hey, this is how I feel. And that's it. That's just how it is.
Yep.
How you feel about it is now on you.
Yep.
Right. I'm not trying to, I'm not influencing other people in like a negative way. Right. So oftentimes it was kind of more of a people pleasing, more of boundary, more of a firm, like communication, like assertive communication without, compromising who I am as a person. A lot of examples of that type of shit. But at first, is it uncomfortable? Totally. Because A, most people don't respond well to you being firm and assertive.
Right.
And B, it's fucking new.
Yep.
For a lot of people. If you've been people pleasing your whole life, tomorrow when you're like, hey, I want to walk my dogs and not go to the movies with my friends, that's just it.
Yep.
Like, please respect what I have to say.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be a dialogue.
Right.
It's a statement.
Right.
The more you do that, the more comfortable it becomes. And it also kind of like reaffirms to yourself that, yes, I can say how I feel and it's not going to crush people.
Right.
And if it does crush them, that's kind of on them.
It's totally on them.
And what it made me realize, dude, is that people aren't made of fucking glass.
Right.
right? Like if you don't want to come to my barbecue, that's all good, man. There's like 20 other people that are coming to my barbecue.
Right.
And hopefully you can catch the next one.
Yep.
You know, so it's I wasn't letting people down nearly as much as my mind said that I was.
For sure.
I wasn't hurting people nearly as much as I was when I was doing drugs and alcohol and actually hurting people.
Right.
You know, so like you said, from like consistent habit of saying and expressing how I really feel.
Yep.
Creating space to understand how I really felt, I was able to make some changes.
Yep.
And now it's, you know, dude, I'll tell anybody no.
Right.
Why? Because I fucking said so.
That's right.
And I could have that confidence behind it.
Yep.
Where it's like, if I love you and I care about you and you need to know, I'll tell you why.
Right.
But for the most part, you don't need to explain yourself.
Right.
And the fact that we think that we do, there's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah.
Like, why do you have to explain yourself to other people?
Right.
Because you want to be accepted. You want to be valued, loved. I don't know.
And with
don't
the
want
people,
them to be mad.
And with the people that don't need the reason, those are the people you want in your circle.
Right.
You
That's
know?
it.
Yeah. And for me, like, dude, that resonates hard with me, man. And I think, you know, in my journey of escaping the trap of people pleasing, one of the things, you know, kind of one of my last takeaways here is that I had to start looking at what it cost me to say yes to something I did not want to say yes to.
Yeah.
Right. And I realized that the fallout of saying no was almost always less negatively impactful on me than saying yes and going and
having
enduring
to do it.
and doing it. Right. And another thing that really helped me is, you know, if it's somebody that I care about, right, and I say no, and I clearly see that, you know, and they're pissed at me, let's just say. I used to get pissed back, right? Like,
You're pissed at me, I'm pissed at you.
yeah, like, I'm like, no, I don't want to go to the barbecue. What the fuck? What the fuck? I said no. What, you know?
Yeah.
And what shifted in a big way for me was really opening my empathy doors, right?
Yeah.
And saying, okay, why? I wonder why that made them angry. Okay, well, we already covered in the show that anger is very often a secondary emotion. It's the result of something else, right? Me saying no made them sad. Why did it make them sad? Because maybe they think it's because I don't want to be their friend anymore. Maybe it's because they think I'd rather be doing something else, which is true, but it doesn't need to mean more than what it is, right? And so oftentimes I would, in my brief explanation as to why, I would make sure to cover that, right? No, I'm not going to the movies this weekend, but dude, like I love going to the movies with you. I'm just not in for this one. Right.
Reassure them a little bit.
I try and just throw a little like, hey, a little caveat, like, dude, it doesn't mean we're not cool. It just means I don't want to go to the fucking movies. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all it means. Right. And with
It's experience right there.
it is, dude. And it's, you know, and you got to know people, but like,
Yeah.
and this is really specific in relationships, right?
Right.
Where it's like your girlfriend's like, hey, like, oh God, I don't want to throw a specific example out there. But, you know, your girl or your boyfriend or your husband, whatever, they're like, hey, like, I really want you to come to this thing, but you really, really, really don't want to, right? And you've got good reason. You know, in that dynamic, throwing that explanation, knowing where they'll go with it based on the past.
Based on knowing them pretty well.
Exactly. Knowing their past, you can throw a little assurance like, dude, I'll go to these things with you, but not this one, man. I love you. Like, I want to go, but only a little bit and not enough to really actually get me there.
Yeah.
You know, like
I'll go for you,
Right.
but you know that you don't want to be the girl that drags the dude into things he doesn't want to do because he just loves you.
Right.
Do you really want that?
And I feel
No.
like, you know, in developed relationships, you know, there's much more understanding around that.
Absolutely.
You know, but yeah, that's my action item is really open the empathy doors, right? Try and understand what their narrative may create from your answer. Acknowledge that you have no control over what they feel, but you can gently influence what they feel.
That's true.
And also know that being firm in your answer and being rude while you answer are two very different things. And saying no doesn't make you an asshole.
It doesn't. I think the last things I would say, bro, is you know, first off, you won't ever please everyone.
True.
So you should at least work on not trying to do that.
Amen, dude.
You're not going to please everyone, so it's a failed mission from the jump, and the only one that suffers is you.
Perpetuated suffering.
Yes, it's going to happen. You're not going to make everyone happy.
Never.
You know? So at least make your fucking self happy.
Amen.
Regulate your own emotions along the way.
Yep.
You know?
Well said,
I feel
man.
like I had one more thing, too. You know, but I can't really think about what it was, but it sucks because it was a good thing to say. It was,
Dang.
It was one of my, like, one-liners.
I love the one-liners.
I do, too. I love one-liners, dude. But it's just not here right now.
That's okay.
And maybe before we wrap the show up, it'll come back.
Should I start with the plugs?
You can start with the plugs, yeah.
Try and dig through there?
Yeah, because usually when you throw out the plugs, I check out.
All right. Yeah. So this time...
You want me to stay tuned? Yeah.
You know, check in this time.
Okay.
All right, you guys. So check it out. We loved getting an email this week. We want more of them. Relationships, substance abuse, alcohol, time, goals, whatever you got, whatever you're struggling with or whatever you just want to hear us riff about, you can email us at bettermentbros@gmail.com. Okay. We love hearing from you. We want to help you guys out. We're in your corner, but we got to hear from you first. Okay. No problem, no situation, big or small, is something that we don't have interest in, okay? So just hit us with it. The other thing, too, is we haven't had a funny situation in like a month and a half.
In a whole year.
Dude, we haven't had a single one this year, dude. So hit us with a funny situation or a funny problem that you want to hear us help you solve, okay? Let's see, what else? Find us on the web. We're www.betterment-bros.com. We're trying to get a new website up at some point this year. Who the hell knows when it's going to happen? Let's see what else. Find us on social media. We are at Betterment Bros. Leave some comments on our posts. DM us if you don't like email. We get it. We're all millennials. You know what I mean?
We're active on there.
We're active.
If you say something to us, we're going to see it.
We're going to see it.
And it's a 50-50 chance that one of us responds.
Yeah, dude.
You don't know who it's going to be.
You'll get me, you'll get Dal, maybe you'll get both. I don't know.
And we don't specify who we are.
No, that's true.
We just respond.
That's true.
Sometimes I'm like, when the fuck did I say this? I was like, oh yeah, I didn't.
Yeah, that's
Jeremy.
right. That's right. But that's where you'll find us. Dal, did you have any luck?
No.
Nothing.
It's fucking gone forever,
It's gone,
dude.
All right, well, maybe you'll think of it at 3 a.m. and we could plug it on the gram or something.
Yeah. I'll make a story and be like, I remembered.
Yeah, Dal remembered.
Yeah, I remembered.
Here's the one-liner.
Yeah.
All right,
Who knows, man?
Good
Hopefully
luck to us.
the rest of the episode was good enough.
Yeah,
you know?
dude. I mean, we covered it. So that's how you can gain autonomy over your emotions and start easing out of the people-pleasing trap.
The endless suffering.
The endless suffering, man.
Goddamn.
So good luck out there. Let us know how it goes if you do apply some of these action items. And we'll see you guys on the next episode.
Yeah.
Boom. I'm Jeremy Mo.
I'm Dallas Terrell.
Take it easy.